You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. The life and legacy of Fred Hampton. Let's talk about Fred Hampton. Not the sanitized textbook version, not the brief Wikipedia blurb, but the real man. The man who shook the system at 21. The man who could make steelworkers and street gangs talk about unity, socialism, and racial justice over coffee.
And we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Bye.
The man the FBI was so afraid of, they decided it was better to kill him in his sleep than to let him keep talking. Because when Fred Hampton spoke, people listened. Not out of fear, but because he spoke truth with fire, compassion, and a clarity that made the powerful nervous. So who was Fred Hampton, really? What made him such a threat? And how does a man so young leave behind a legacy that's still echoing through the streets of Chicago in grassroots movements, in Black Lives Matter, and in every cry for justice that refuses to be silenced? Let's get into it.
December 4th, 1969, Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed in a police raid targeting the Black Panther Party.
From Maywood to the movement. Fred Hampton was born on August 30th, 1948, in Maywood, Illinois, a predominantly black working-class suburb just outside Chicago. His parents had moved north from Louisiana as part of the Great Migration, looking for a better life, and Fred grew up understanding the value of hard work and the sting of discrimination. He wasn't just a smart kid. He was brilliant. Honors classes, top grades, athletic, charming. He could talk to anybody. Classmates, teachers, elders in the neighborhood, and from early on, he had a sharp sense of justice. He saw the way black folks in Maywood were treated differently, given less, and expected to accept it. He didn't accept it. As a teen, he joined the NAACP and quickly rose to lead the West Suburban Youth Council. And this wasn't some honorary title. Hampton was organizing real programs, tutoring sessions, free breakfasts, and peaceful protests. He mobilized hundreds of young people. He wasn't just a student of history, he was starting to make it. And while he had dreams of becoming a lawyer, hoping to use the law to fight for civil rights, the more he saw of America's justice system, the more he realized how deeply broken it was. That disillusionment set him on a new path, one far more radical and far more dangerous. Revolutionary fire, even as a teen. Even before he ever joined the Black Panther Party, you could already see the revolutionary brewing. He studied Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. deeply. He admired King's discipline and spiritual grounding, but he connected more with Malcolm's boldness, his insistence that black people had the right to defend themselves, and it wasn't just black thinkers who shaped him. Hampton was reading Marx, Lenin, and Fanon. He was thinking critically about class, about labor, about how race and capitalism were entwined. He saw that oppression wasn't just about color. It was also about money, power, and who got left behind. He organized walkouts to protest segregated schools and discriminatory hiring practices. He helped create youth programs that brought kids off the streets and into political education classes. He was barely out of high school and already pushing for systemic change. People noticed, his voice carried, not because it was loud, but because it was real. He could quote Che Guevara and make it make sense to a teenager on the west side of Chicago. He could break down socialism using everyday examples. He made revolution sound practical and necessary. The Black Panther Party finds its star. By 1968, Hampton was ready for a bigger stage, and the Black Panther Party was the perfect fit. Founded in Oakland just 2 years earlier by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, the Panthers were quickly becoming one of the most feared and misunderstood movements in the country. In the Panthers, Hampton found a home, a place where theory met action, and almost immediately, the national leadership knew they had someone special. At just 20 years old, he was made chairman of the Illinois chapter. It wasn't just about titles, it was about results. Under Hampton's leadership, the Illinois Panthers became one of the most active and effective chapters in the country. They weren't just protesting, They were feeding kids, offering free medical care, and teaching political education classes. They were walking seniors to the bus stop and making sure kids got to school safely. The Black Panthers were demonized in the media as violent radicals, but Hampton helped show another side. One grounded in service, solidarity, and community defense. He brought that same energy to coalition building, helping turn the concept of unity into something real. Becoming chairman of the Illinois chapter. As chairman, Hampton worked tirelessly to expand the Panthers' reach across Chicago. He coordinated free breakfast programs that fed thousands of kids before school. He helped launch a free health clinic that tested for sickle cell anemia, something the mainstream medical system ignored. Hampton had a unique ability to connect with people, whether they were college students or gang members. He wasn't trying to impress with jargon. He was trying to empower. Every speech he gave was a master class in clarity, urgency, and hope. But he also made sure the Panthers weren't isolated. He understood that the real power came from building a movement bigger than any one group. Survival programs. Revolution by serving the people. Fred Hampton saw revolution not just as fighting the system, but serving the people. That's where the Panther survival programs came in. These weren't charity, they were community empowerment. The Free Breakfast for Children program wasn't just about food. It was about dignity. It said to every child, "You deserve to be fed, to be loved, and to be educated." The clinics weren't just Band-Aids. They were statements that Black communities had the right to quality health care, regardless of what the government did or didn't provide. These programs weren't secondary, they were central. Hampton knew that when people experience real support, they begin to believe in their own power. That's when transformation begins. His leadership was different. Fred Hampton didn't lead from above, he led from beside you. He didn't bark orders, he listened, he studied, he debated, he taught. He held political education sessions every week. He made sure every member, from the newest recruit to the most seasoned Panther, understood not just what they were doing, but why. He could quote Mao, but also talk about the broken school down the street. He made people believe they were capable of more. And because he believed in them, they started believing in themselves. He also had a fierce sense of humor and a deep love for people. That combination, fire and warmth, is what made him so dangerous to the powers that be. Changing the narrative around the Panthers. Mainstream media painted the Black Panthers as militants, thugs with guns. But Fred Hampton helped shift that image, especially in Chicago. He showed that the Panthers were mothers, fathers, students, and workers, people fed up with being pushed down, finally standing up. He constantly pushed back against the idea that the Panthers were violent. "We don't fight fire with fire," he said. "We fight fire with water. We're going to fight racism with solidarity. We're not going to fight capitalism with Black capitalism. We're going to fight capitalism with socialism." That scared the hell out of the establishment. Because a united, educated, and organized community, that's a real threat. That's revolution. And so, they came for him. But they couldn't kill what he started. Fred Hampton wasn't just a 21-year-old activist. He was a revolutionary force. In just a few short years, he transformed communities, built coalitions, and dared to believe that justice wasn't just a dream. It was a right. The state tried to silence him. But the revolution he sparked, of solidarity, love, and people power, continues to speak louder than ever. You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. The question is, what are you doing with that truth?